The 2005 National Electrical Code, or NEC, mandates specific disconnecting means for fluorescent lighting fixtures. This regulation focuses on fixtures utilizing double-ended lamps and ballasts designed for in-situ servicing or reballasting. The core requirement is the installation of a disconnecting means capable of severing all conductors, encompassing the neutral conductor. This provision took effect on January 1, 2008. Several methods exist to achieve compliance with this code provision. Firstly, the incorporation of a two-pole disconnect switch directly within the trough or ballast assembly provides a readily accessible and integral disconnecting mechanism. Secondly, the utilization of a quick connect wiring harness for the ballast offers an alternative solution, contingent upon adequate shielding of the line side wires to prevent accidental contact. The fundamental objective of this requirement is to establish a secure methodology for isolating the fixture from the power source during maintenance or servicing procedures. By disconnecting all conductors, including the neutral, the potential for electrical shock is significantly mitigated, ensuring worker safety. Firstly, understand the scope of NEC 410.130. NEC 410.130 paragraph G deals specifically with the disconnecting means for double-ended fluorescent luminaires. This section stipulates that individual luminaires containing double-ended lamps and incorporating ballasts that can be serviced in place must have a disconnecting means. This disconnecting means must simultaneously disconnect all conductors, including the neutral conductor. Secondly, explore acceptable methods of compliance. Several methods meet the requirements outlined in NEC 410.130 paragraph G. One method involves utilizing a luminaire equipped with an integrated two-pole disconnect switch. This switch provides a readily accessible means to disconnect all conductors, including the neutral. An alternative approach involves implementing a quick connect wiring harness for the ballast. However, this method is contingent upon ensuring that the line side wires are adequately shielded to prevent inadvertent contact. Thirdly, review the purpose of the requirement. The primary purpose of NEC 410.130 paragraph G is to enhance safety during maintenance and servicing of fluorescent luminaires. By mandating a disconnecting means that isolates all conductors, including the neutral, the risk of electrical shock is significantly reduced. This is particularly important when working on ballasts that can be serviced in place, as personnel may be exposed to energized conductors. Fourthly, consider the effective date. It is crucial to note that the requirements of NEC 410.130 paragraph G became effective on January 1, 2008. Therefore, installations performed after this date must comply with these provisions. Briefly clarify specific requirements for the disconnecting means. The disconnecting means required by NEC 410.130 paragraph G must be readily accessible and capable of being locked in the open position. This ensures that the luminaire remains energized during maintenance or servicing. Sixthly, recognize potential challenges. Implementing the requirements of NEC 410.130 paragraph G may present certain challenges. For example, selecting luminaires with integrated disconnect switches may limit the available options. Additionally, ensuring adequate shielding of line side wires when using quick connect wiring harnesses may require careful attention to detail. Seventhly, understand the role of the neutral conductor. The requirement to disconnect the neutral conductor is a critical aspect of NEC 410.130 paragraph G. Disconnecting the neutral conductor prevents the possibility of a shock hazard due to a floating neutral or other unforeseen circumstances. Eighthly, recognize the importance of proper labeling. Luminaires equipped with a disconnecting means should be clearly labeled to indicate the presence and location of the disconnecting means. This facilitates safe and efficient maintenance and servicing. Ninthly, consider the implications for existing installations. While NEC 410.130 paragraph G primarily applies to new installations, it may be prudent to evaluate existing installations to determine whether retrofitting with a disconnecting means is warranted. Tenthly, understand the enforcement of the requirement. The enforcement of NEC 410.130 paragraph G is typically the responsibility of local electrical inspectors. It is essential to consult with the local inspection authority to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. Firstly, discuss the historical context. Prior to the 2005 NEC, the requirement for disconnecting all conductors, including the neutral and fluorescent lighting fixtures, was not explicitly mandated for fixtures with serviceable ballasts. This absence created a potential hazard for maintenance personnel who could inadvertently contact energized conductors while working on a fixture. Secondly, outline the evolution of safety standards. The inclusion of NEC 410.130 paragraph G in the 2005 NEC represents a significant advancement in electrical safety standards. This provision addresses a previously identified gap in safety protocols and provides a more comprehensive approach to preventing electrical shock during fixture maintenance. Thirdly, explain the rationale behind disconnecting the neutral. The decision to require disconnection of the neutral conductor stems from the understanding that the neutral is not always of grand potential. Under certain fault conditions or wiring errors, the neutral can become energized, posing a shock hazard. By disconnecting the neutral, this potential hazard is eliminated. Fourthly, describe the design considerations for compliant fixtures. Manufacturers of fluorescent lighting fixtures have responded to NEC 410.130 paragraph G by designing fixtures that incorporate integrated disconnect switches or readily accommodate quick connect wiring harnesses with appropriate shielding. These design considerations facilitate compliance with the code and simplify installation. Fifthly, emphasize the importance of proper installation techniques. Even with compliant fixtures, proper installation techniques are essential to ensure that the disconnecting means functions effectively. This includes ensuring that all connections are secure and that the shielding on quick connect wiring harnesses is properly installed. Sixthly, address the potential for misinterpretation. Despite the clarity of NEC 410.130 paragraph G, there remains the potential for misinterpretation. For example, some individuals may mistakenly believe that a single pole switch is sufficient to meet the requirements of the code. It is crucial to consult with qualified electrical professionals to ensure proper interpretation and compliance. Seventhly, highlight the benefits of increased safety. The primary benefit of NEC 410.130 paragraph G is increased safety for maintenance personnel. By providing a readily accessible and reliable means to disconnect all conductors, including the neutral, the risk of electrical shock is significantly reduced. Eighthly, discuss the cost implications. Implementing NEC 410.130 paragraph G may involve some additional costs, such as the cost of compliant fixtures or quick connect wiring harnesses. However, these costs are typically outweighed by the benefits of increased safety and reduced risk of electrical accidents. Ninthly, consider the long-term maintenance benefits. In addition to enhancing safety, NEC 410.130 paragraph G can also provide long-term maintenance benefits. By simplifying the process of disconnecting the fixture, maintenance personnel can perform their tasks more efficiently and with less risk of damaging the fixture or its components. Tenthly, reiterate the importance of ongoing training. To ensure continued compliance with NEC 410.130 paragraph G, it is essential to provide ongoing training for electrical professionals and maintenance personnel. This training should cover the requirements of the code, proper installation techniques, and the importance of safety protocols. Firstly, delve into the specific wording of NEC 410.130 paragraph G. To fully comprehend the requirements of NEC 410.130 paragraph G, it is essential to examine the specific wording of the code. The code states that individual luminaires containing double-ended lamps and incorporating ballasts that can be serviced in place shall have a disconnecting means that simultaneously disconnects all conductors, including the neutral conductor. Secondly, analyze the key terms and phrases. Several key terms and phrases within NEC 410.130 paragraph G warrant further analysis. The term individual luminaires refers to each separate lighting fixture. The phrase double-ended lamp specifies that the requirement applies only to fixtures utilizing lamps with contacts at both ends. The phrase ballast that can be serviced in place indicates that the requirement applies to fixtures where the ballast can be replaced or repaired without removing the entire fixture. Thirdly, differentiate between different types of ballasts. NEC 410.130 paragraph G specifically addresses ballast that can be serviced in place. This typically refers to electronic ballasts that are easily accessible and replaceable. The requirement may not apply to older magnetic ballasts that are more difficult to service. Fourthly, clarify the scope of the disconnecting means. The disconnecting means required by NEC 410.130 paragraph G must disconnect all conductors, including the neutral conductor. This means that the disconnecting means must interrupt the flow of current in all wires connected to the fixture. Fifthly, elaborate on the permissible methods of disconnection. NEC 410.130 paragraph G does not specify a particular method of disconnection. However, the code recognizes two common methods as being acceptable. Firstly, the use of a luminaire equipped with an integrated two-pole disconnect switch, and secondly, the use of a quick connect wiring harness for the ballast, provided that the line side wires are adequately shielded. Sixthly, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each method. Each method of disconnection has its own advantages and disadvantages. Integrated disconnect switches are convenient and readily accessible, but they may limit the available fixture options. Quick connect wiring harnesses offer greater flexibility, but they require careful attention to shielding and installation. Seventhly, address the issue of accessibility. The disconnecting means required by NEC 410.130 paragraph G must be readily accessible. This means that the disconnecting means must be located in a place where it can be easily reached and operated by maintenance personnel. Eighthly, consider the impact on lighting design. The requirements of NEC 410.130 paragraph G may have an impact on lighting design. Designers may need to consider the availability of compliant fixtures and the accessibility of disconnecting means when planning a lighting installation. Ninthly, provide examples of compliant installations. Several examples of compliant installations can be provided to illustrate the requirements of NEC 410.130 paragraph G. These examples may include fixtures with integrated disconnect switches, fixtures with quick connect wiring harnesses, and installations where the disconnecting means is located in a readily accessible location. Tenthly, emphasize the importance of documentation. To ensure continued compliance with NEC 410.130 paragraph G, it is essential to maintain proper documentation of all lighting installations. This documentation should include information about the type of fixtures used, the location of disconnecting means, and any other relevant details. Firstly, examine the role of underwriters, laboratories, or all. UL plays a crucial role in ensuring compliance with NEC 410.130 paragraph G. UL listed luminaires and components are tested and certified to meet the requirements of the code. Secondly, discuss the importance of using UL listed products. Using UL listed products provides assurance that the products have been tested and certified to meet applicable safety standards. This can help to minimize the risk of electrical accidents and ensure compliance with the code. Thirdly, clarify the requirements for shielding line-side wires. When using quick connect wiring harnesses, it is essential to ensure that the line-side wires are adequately shielded to prevent inadvertent contact. The shielding should be designed to protect against both direct contact and arc flash hazards. Fourthly, explain the testing procedures for shielding. UL conducts rigorous testing to ensure that shielding materials provide adequate protection against electrical hazards. This testing includes subjecting the shielding to high voltages and currents to simulate fault conditions. Fifthly, address the issue of field modifications. Field modifications to luminaires or wiring harnesses may void the UL listing and compromise the safety of the installation. It is essential to avoid field modifications and to use only UL listed products that are designed for the intended application. Sixthly, discuss the responsibilities of the electrical contractor. The electrical contractor is responsible for ensuring that all lighting installations comply with NEC 410.130 paragraph G. This includes selecting compliant products, installing them properly, and verifying that the disconnecting means functions effectively. Seventhly, address the responsibilities of the building owner or manager. The building owner or manager is responsible for maintaining the lighting installation in a safe and compliant condition. This includes providing ongoing training for maintenance personnel and ensuring that the disconnecting means is readily accessible and functional. Eighthly, consider the potential for future code changes. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and future editions may include changes to NEC 410.130 paragraph G. It is essential to stay informed about code changes and to ensure that all lighting installations comply with the latest requirements. Ninthly, emphasize the importance of collaboration. Compliance with NEC 410.130 paragraph G requires collaboration between electrical contractors, building owners, and lighting designers. By working together, these stakeholders can ensure that lighting installations are safe, compliant, and efficient. Tenthly, reiterate the ultimate goal of safety. The ultimate goal of NEC 410.130 paragraph G is to enhance safety and prevent electrical accidents. By understanding the requirements of the code and implementing them properly, we can create safer working environments for maintenance personnel and reduce the risk of electrical hazards. Firstly, consider the specific case of 277 volts lighting systems. While NEC 410.130 paragraph G applies generally to fluorescent lighting with serviceable ballasts, the implications are particularly significant for 277 volt lighting systems commonly found in commercial buildings. The higher voltage presents a greater shock hazard, making proper disconnection even more critical. Secondly, address the selection of appropriate disconnect switches for 277 volt systems. When selecting integrated disconnect switches for 277 volt systems, it is crucial to ensure that the switches are rated for the appropriate voltage and current. Using an undersized switch can lead to overheating, arcing, and potential failure, compromising safety. Thirdly, discuss the importance of lockout/tagout procedures. Even with a disconnecting means in place, it is essential to implement proper lockout/tagout procedures during maintenance or servicing. This involves physically locking the disconnecting means in the open position and attaching a tag to warn others that the circuit is being worked on. Fourthly, clarify the role of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. While GFCIs provide valuable protection against ground faults, they do not eliminate the need for disconnecting means as required by NEC 410.130 paragraph G. GFCIs are designed to detect and interrupt ground faults, but they do not disconnect all conductors, including the neutral. Fifthly, address the potential for nuisance tripping. In some cases, GFCIs may experience nuisance tripping, particularly in older lighting systems. However, nuisance tripping is not a valid reason to bypass the requirements of NEC 410.130 paragraph G. Instead, efforts should be made to identify and correct the underlying cause of the tripping. Sixthly, discuss the use of surge protection devices, or SPDs. SPD can help to protect lighting systems from voltage surges and transients, but they do not provide the disconnection required by NEC 410.130 paragraph G. SPD are designed to divert surge currents to ground, but they do not interrupt the flow of current in all conductors. Seventhly, clarify the interaction with emergency lighting systems. The requirements of NEC 410.130 paragraph G also apply to emergency lighting systems. Emergency lighting systems must have a disconnecting means that disconnects all conductors, including the neutral, to ensure that the system can be safely serviced. Eighthly, address the documentation requirements for emergency lighting systems. In addition to the general documentation requirements for lighting installations, emergency lighting systems must have specific documentation that outlines the system's design, operation, and maintenance procedures. Ninthly, consider the impact of LED retrofits. When retrofitting existing fluorescent lighting systems with LED fixtures, it is essential to ensure that the new fixtures comply with NEC 410.130 paragraph G. This may involve replacing the existing fixtures with models that have integrated disconnect switches or installing quick connect wiring harnesses. Tenthly, reiterate the importance of professional expertise. Compliance with NEC 410.130 paragraph G requires professional expertise and a thorough understanding of electrical codes and safety practices. It is essential to consult with qualified electrical professionals to ensure that all lighting installations are safe, compliant, and efficient.